My grandmother is 81 years old and she is dying. And my sister was using her own face, my face, to steal from her. I need to back up and explain something about our family before any of this makes sense. Our grandmother, Dorothy Whitfield, is the kind of woman who built everything herself. She grew up with nothing, married a man who also had nothing, and together they spent 60 years turning nothing into something real. A house. Savings. A small piece of land outside the city that has been in the family for decades. When our grandfather passed 6 years ago, everything went to Grandma Dorothy. And when Dorothy passes, everything was always understood to be coming to me and Emma, split equally. Except that is not what the updated documents say. And that is what I found out on day 2. After Ryan left for work that morning, I sat down with my laptop and I went through every screenshot I had taken more carefully than I had the night before. I had been in shock the first time. This time I was looking. Really looking. Deep in the thread, about 6 weeks back, there was a conversation that had nothing to do with the affair. Ryan had sent Emma a photo. A document. I had to zoom in to read it clearly, and when I did, my blood went cold in a completely different way than it had the night before. It was a handwritten amendment to my grandmother's estate plan. And the signature at the bottom was mine. Except I had never signed anything. I had never even seen that document. Emma had signed it. Using my name. She had gone to our grandmother as me. I sat with that for a long time. I kept turning it over, looking for another explanation, because the one right in front of me was so monstrous I could not make it fit with the person I thought I knew. Emma and I are identical twins. We have fooled people our entire lives, sometimes on purpose and sometimes by accident. Teachers, neighbors, even our own father on a bad day. But we had never, not once, used that to hurt each other. It had always been our private joke. Our shared superpower. She had turned it into a weapon. The messages around the document told the story in pieces. Ryan had connected Emma with someone, a contact he described only as a guy who handles paperwork, which I understood immediately to mean someone willing to make documents look legitimate for the right price. Emma had visited our grandmother twice in the past 2 months, presenting herself as me, Cara, the granddaughter Dorothy trusted completely. She had steered conversations about the estate. She had, according to one message Ryan sent her, done beautifully. Done beautifully. While our grandmother lay in a hospital bed, not always sure what day it was. Dorothy has dementia. It is in the early to middle stages, which means she has good days and bad days. On a good day she is sharp as she ever was. On a bad day she sometimes calls me by my mother's name, or forgets that our grandfather is gone. Emma knew exactly which kind of day to visit on. She had been timing it. I had to put my hands flat on the table to stop them from shaking. I thought about calling someone right then. My mother. A lawyer. The police. But I stopped myself because I was thinking about the document. It was a photo of a document. Ryan had sent it to Emma, which meant Ryan had seen it, which meant Ryan was not just the cheating fiancé in this story. He was a participant in something that had a legal name. Fraud. Elder financial abuse. Forgery. If I picked up the phone and started making accusations with nothing but screenshots from a phone I had accessed without permission, I would look like the unstable one. Emma would cry. Ryan would deny. And whoever the paperwork guy was would disappear. I needed more. I needed the actual document. I needed to know what it said, what had been changed, and whether it had already been filed anywhere officially. So instead of calling anyone, I called the one person I trusted completely outside of my family. My grandmother's estate attorney, Marcus Webb, who had handled her affairs for 15 years and who I had met exactly twice at family dinners. I did not tell him everything. I told him I had some concerns about my grandmother's estate and I needed to understand the current state of her documents. He agreed to meet me the next morning. And that night, Emma called me to talk about bridesmaid dress alterations. I answered. I laughed at her jokes. I told her the alterations sounded perfect. And the entire time I was on the phone with her, I was staring at a screenshot of her handwriting pretending to be mine on a document designed to rob our dying grandmother. She had no idea that I knew. And I needed to keep it that way. But what Marcus told me the next morning was worse than anything I had imagined. Because Emma had not just changed the documents. She had been planning this for much longer than 4 months. Stay tuned for the next part.